Hey guys, Danny Johnson here, and a friend of mine just took delivery of his '04 Screaming Yellow Cobra, which is a really cool car. I even knew the previous owner. Very nice car. However, this is what it was doing on the trailer. And so as the transport service was trying to start the car, it appeared that fuel was being shot out of the tailpipes. It smelled that way as well. And so they got it home, and so the new owner took off the oil drain plug to drain the oil, and what came out was very disheartening to see. So basically, it appeared to be a milky color, almost like a blown head gasket would look like. And the thing is, water is the heaviest. It'll be at the bottom. Oil will float on top of the water, and then fuel will float on top of both of those. And this one was mixed completely. Definitely some water content in there, which he assumed was ethanol. So as it was draining, he was scratching his head trying to figure out what had happened. So I called him on my lunch break, and we were just scratching our head trying to figure out what would keep the car from starting, because even with the bad head gasket, the car should still run. Thankfully, it didn't start, which we'll figure out in a minute. But anyway, we went over fuses and everything like that. The car had an aftermarket alarm, so we were thinking maybe that had something to do with keeping the car from starting. And just as a passing thought, I said, the other day I did see somebody who had a cracked intercooler under the blower that was throwing water, throughout the whole engine. So he checked his IC tank and said, it doesn't look like it's lost a lot of water in here, but it definitely was water only. So as he started looking at some of what was coming out of the engine with the spark plugs pulled and everything, he saw that the IC tank did have pure water in it. So what I'm thinking had happened, he pulled the supercharger off and found that it was cracked. So my thought is this car was in California, where it's not freezing and it's not that cold, and he doesn't live in a cold climate, but the car transport probably went through some colder areas where it froze. And so with that said, be very careful if you're running water inside your intercooler system or your engine. Some people run straight water without any antifreeze. Then be careful, because the minute the car goes into a cold climate, you can have something like this happen. So it split open, and that's where he's lucky the car didn't start, because if it did start, you could hydrolock it. When you think about a small bottle jack can lift an entire car, that's exactly what water could do if it was on the compression stroke. You could bend rods and destroy your whole engine. So luckily he figured this out. Hopefully he'll get a new intercooler in there quickly and get the car back together. So anyway, serves as a good reminder, if you have water only, make sure you put some coolant in it, even if you slightly anticipate getting into some freezing temperatures. Now, of course, it could have been something else that happened. Maybe the car did overheat and it, pressurized and completely destroyed the intercooler, but definitely intercooler is cracked. And so to me, that looks like freezing. It could be from something different as well, but just some of my thoughts of what I think it could be. So anyway, thanks for watching. And if you're new to the channel, feel free to subscribe. Thanks, guys.